Maria. Do you remember?
I literally listened to that this morning.
Yeah, exactly. See, so it's people. Welcome to the show. This is Locked On Sports Minnesota. That was my rendition of the 21st of September. Because
you said November.
I know I did, didn't I? I'm sorry. I messed up. It was September, the 21st of September, people. I don't know where you were the 21st of September, but I know where we're going to be this weekend. We're going to watch the Gophers. We're going to watch the Vikings. We're going to see some W's, hopefully at least 2. 1 for sure. But I'm Ron Johnson. This is Locked On Sports Minnesota. This is the Friday Roundtable. Yes, I had fat waffles today because it is always a fat waffle Friday in my household. We got Sam Ekstrom joining us. He's the producer that does it all. We got Julia Daniels from Care 11. She's the one that takes all the grief. And we got Reggie Wilson. He's the one that goes to all the Lynx games, and he's just the famous guy that shows up and does videos with random people on benches to get ready for the Lynx to dominate. Yes, Reggie, I saw that video from Shalita. I don't know if people have seen that one yet, but Reggie Wilson is famous now. He is an actor. And I'm Ron Johnson again. And on our show, people, for those that are new to the program, on the show, we love to break down topics. We love to get petty, and we love to give you the juice and the numbers that you need to win some money. So we'll do all that and much more coming up next on the Roundtable.
This is the Locked On Sports Minnesota Roundtable, your favorite podcast personalities, along with Care 11 sports reporters, weighing in on the hottest topics. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
So, as I said, I'm Ron Johnson. This is Locked On Sports Minnesota. This is the Friday Roundtable. And there's so much we could talk about. You got the Twins. You got the Vikings. You got the Gophers. You got the Lynx. There's a lot of sports going on in the state of Minnesota, people. But we have to get locked in on some specific topics. Sam, what you got for us today?
Scorching, scalding, broiling, bold predictions from Vikings Packers on Sunday.
Oh, sorry. I went there for a second. We got to talk sad stuff. We got to talk about the Twins in this playoff. Also, who's getting fired at the end of this one?
Is it sad, though? The Tigers are going. Is it really that sad?
Yeah, I don't know how we transition from that. But the Lynx, baby, they're doing it. Nafisa Collier, all the gang, they're doing some big things right now on the court. We're breaking down their upcoming matchup against the Connecticut Sun.
Hey, Reggie, here's one way you could have done it. When one thing dies, another thing lives. The Twins had to die for the Lynx to live. So, hey, it works that way.
They could have both lived.
Could have beat the Marlins. Wouldn't have taken much.
It's the Marlins, bro.
It's like the Titanic. Hey, there's only room for one of us on this door, and it is not you, Leonardo DiCaprio.
There's actually 2. They just like to act like there's not.
But again, I'm Ron Johnson, and I want to talk about my Minnesota Gophers. They are heading into Michigan. I remember when I got to go back home to Michigan, so I know what Darius Taylor feels like. We're going to talk about that and what it's going to take for Minnesota to upset Michigan. And I will say one is Connor Stallions isn't there, so they have a chance. They do have a chance, but there's another thing. I'm doing a film breakdown on the pregame show tomorrow. And there's something that Michigan does every single time they have a big play. I hope Minnesota's figured that out. We'll talk about all that much more, but I want everybody to know today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but download the Game Time app today because what time is it?
Game time.
There you go, Sam. I think Reggie and Julia getting in that next time. Next week, people, we're going to have it together. It's going to be like Ray Lewis walking out the tunnel. What time is it? Game time. Everybody, but you gotta say it at the same time. Y'all got to work on y'all timing. And Julie just coming in like game time. But as we get into these bold predictions, everybody knows Vikings Packers. If you've been on Twitter, you've seen it all. Let's go, Sam. What you got?
All right. Jordan Addison's coming back. He said it yesterday. He's been practicing, although in a limited capacity, but he thinks he's going to come back and play on Sunday. I believe him. I believe that he's playing. What is that going to do for the Minnesota Vikings? Well, I think it opens up Justin Jefferson. And I love that the rivalry has been brewing now for a couple of years with Jair Alexander and Justin Jefferson. Now, last year at Lambeau, JJ was hurt. Didn't get to play in that rivalry. That was a big Jordan Addison game, by the way. And the Vikings dominated at Lambeau last year. Then they met in week 17. Didn't go the same way. That was a big Jordan Love game. But I also want to point out that Jaren Hall started that game for the Vikings and was really, really mediocre. I think the Vikings were down 24-3 pretty like right before halftime, and they turned the ball over a couple times because of Jaren Hall. They've got Sam Darnold. They've got kind of their offensive pieces in place this year. I think it's going to look a little more similar to last year's Lambeau game. I think Jordan Addison's presence opens things up for Justin Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson goes off for $150 plus. Because if you look at his season so far, he had a huge first 3 quarters against the Giants, and then he didn't need to do anything really in the second half because of how far ahead they were. Texans game, same deal. He feasted in the first half, didn't need to do much in the second half. And then against the 49ers, he had well over 100 yards and then got hurt. So he wasn't available in the fourth quarter. So really, if you look at Justin Jefferson's production, when they've needed to throw the ball, he's been there. He's been available. If they throw the ball for 4 quarters against the Packers, I think Justin Jefferson goes off for 150 yards or more. Let's give him a touchdown, too. Big day for Justin Jefferson against Jair Alexander. That's my bold prediction.
Julia, what's your bold prediction?
My bold prediction is let's go defense. I think people are, everyone's wondering, is it going to be Jordan Love, Malik Willis, this, that, and the other. When I talked to Jonathan Grenard this week, he was like, we don't really care who's that quarterback. We don't care. But I will say this will be, I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to say this, but I think at this point, once you're into this part of the season, you can say that I don't think they've seen a run game like this, or if Malik Willis is playing a quarterback that runs like this. So it'll come down to, can they stop the run that the Packers have? And I feel like Brian Flores' defense is, knock on wood, prepared for just about anything, at least from what we've seen so far in these first 3 weeks. But my bold prediction is that the Packers are going to give this flow defense a run for their money. I say that because rivalry games are just so unpredictable, right? It doesn't matter what the records are, what we've seen in the weeks before, this, that, and the other. So I'm going to say this will be the biggest challenge that Flo's defense will face, but I do still think that the Vikings will be able to shut it down.
So Justin Jefferson is kind of giving the greatest hits right now. What was it, a couple weeks ago? Respectfully, I'm not Garrett Wilson. And then just yesterday, like I don't really care about the matchup with Jair Alexander. Like he probably cares more than I do. Like, dang, like he is just like, you know what? I'm not even in the same class as these people you keep trying to put me in a sentence with. So just take that. So I like your bold prediction, Sam. I have another bold prediction for one of the offensive players. And I think Aaron Jones is going to run for $150 and a couple tutties on Sunday. I can see that happening. I think it's going to be a very interesting chess match between the two teams. And I can see Aaron Jones, he says, Julia did a story on Aaron Jones on Wednesday, and, he put out the Players Tribune article, thanking Green Bay for the time he spent there. And he says that he's not bitter or anything like that, but I know he's extra motivated to go in there and show them. And on top of that bold prediction, I think he's going to try to Lambeau leap, and like a baseball fan in the stands of the home team, when the away team hits a home run, I think they're going to throw him back.
He's going to get beer dumped on him for sure. I just can't believe, if you're a Packers fan, it must be so disheartening year after year. I mean, at least a handful of times every decade, there's a great player that ends up in purple and has to come back to your stadium and ball out against you. Favre, Za'Darius, Ryan Longwell,
Greg Jennings.
I don't like mentioning his name too much, but Darren Sharper, just a lot of dudes.
Sipping on some scissor.
It was interesting that Aaron said this week when they asked him about like his last time in the facility, and he was like, I didn't know it was my last time in the facility. So he was like, I had kind of have some unfinished business here, and it was just like a weird transition time for me. And I was expecting to be back at Green Bay this year. He's like, I'm glad that I'm here with the Vikings, obviously, but this was, not something that I planned. I wasn't planning on leaving that team. So
he should go back to the facility and just go to the bathroom. Just go pee in the facility.
Right.
And then that's his last memory. I got to pee in the facility one last time, and then just miss the toilet seat. Like, no, don't do that, because that's treating the workers wrong. Don't do that. Let's go pee in the coach's chair.
That's Ron's bold prediction.
Van Wilder style.
Aaron Jones, we know you were listening, and we know you were going to do
16 candle style. Go put a cake in his office and just put it in his chair so he sits on a cake. My bold prediction is that I'm gonna say, so Green Bay, when you look at their third downs, right? They're one of the best. 3rd and 1 to 5, 60% first down or touchdowns. 3rd and 6 to 9, 41.7%. So it drops. So I think Brian Flores is going to kind of try to stymie him a little bit. But here's the other thing. On 3rd down, 8.2 yards per play is number 1 in the NFL. They've gotten 8.2 yards per play. Why? Because they, on 3rd down, are extremely aggressive. I'm doing a 3rd down breakdown on the pregame show on Sunday, and I got 4 plays. 2 Jordan Love, 2 Malik Willis, because they're 2 different quarterbacks, similar styles. Here's how I noticed that. Runs versus pass. Week 1, they threw the ball 42 times, which is 7th. Week 2, 39. Week 2 and 3, 39 times, which is 32nd. They ran the ball 94 times between the last 2 weeks with Malik Willis, which is 1st in the NFL. They run the ball way more with Malik Willis, and they are figuring out how to get in the 3rd and short. I don't know if this is true. My one bro prediction was, I think they're going to use both quarterbacks. Like, why not? Like, if Jordan Love can go and Malik Willis can go, use both quarterbacks. Like, if I see I'm getting production from this guy, and this guy can throw the ball like this guy can run the ball like this, use both quarterbacks. So that's one bold prediction. My other one is that the Vikings are going to get 2 turnovers, because on most of the 3rd and 6s, they motion so you can tell them what the coverage is. And every team that is motioned out of the coverage, and meaning like they back out and show, okay, we're in 2 now, or the safety walks in the box to show they're 1, they've stayed with that coverage. So they made it extremely easy for both Malik Willis and Jordan Love to read their defenses. Now, it's only been 3 weeks, small sample size, but Matt LaFleur clearly has said, if you get this look after the motion, there was some token motions. They had Josh Jacobs out to the right. He motions to the backfield. That told Malik Willis exactly what the play was going to be, or what the coverage is going to be. Boom. Then he runs the go route in the slot. He does it again, motions him in. This is Jordan Love. He runs the comeback kind of post corner to Romeo Doubs. They are using that to identify. I think Brian Flores does enough that your little token motions aren't going to affect or aren't going to help your quarterback. So I feel like, and Jordan Love throws on time, and Malik Willis does too. I feel like that they are going to throw on time, assuming here's what Brian Flores just showed us, and you're not going to get that coverage. So I think there's going to be 2 turn, whether it's I have to hold the ball now and there's a strip sack fumble, or there's an interception. I think there's going to be 2 or more turnovers by Green Bay. That's my bold prediction. But use those bold predictions, people, because you can go on the app FanDuel and you can make some bets. So coming up, we're going to give you some FanDuel locks. Use our bold predictions. Now, you heard it. Reggie got some touchdowns, some 100-yard rushers. Julia's got some stuff going. Use those, people. You can win some money. We also will give you our record. Sam will run through that of what we've given you the last 2 weeks. Sam, have we done this, or 3?
We've done it every week, and I've got the results from last week that we can reveal. Yeah.
All right. So coming up next, we'll do that after a word from our sponsors.
Before we get into the locks, tell you that we are brought to you by Game Time. This is the best way to get sports tickets on your mobile phone. It is unbelievably easy. Game Time Picks will curate the best ticket options, whether you want to go to Allianz Field, you want to go see the end of the Twins season and go to that funeral over the weekend. You can go to the WNBA playoffs at Target Center. You can get in using the Game Time app. Just download it now. Turn on the all-in pricing, no hidden fees, get a view from your seat, and get the lowest price guarantee. Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you find better seats. They've got the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. You've got every option available to you. Get tickets to go see the Gophers and USC on October 5th. Every option is on the table. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code LOCKEDON. Get $20 off your first Game Time purchase. Download Game Time today. Here we go. What time is it?
Game time.
Game time. Roo.
Good job, guys.
That's like the Gophers. Skyuma.
Well coordinated.
I don't know what the roof's for, but all of a sudden they've added that to the Gophers rouser now. But now it's time to get into these FanDuel locks. Let's start with you, Julia. What's your lock for the game?
Okay, this is interesting. If you look, they only have Jordan Love listed as quarterback. I guess they have to pick one
Probably.
when they're going into it. Okay, all right.
This is why, and this is Julia. This is why people get pissed off about betting.
Yeah.
Because if you put your money down, now if he doesn't play, it does nullify your bet.
Right.
But that's why people get pissed because what was his name? Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey didn't say he was hurt, and so people were putting a lot of their parlays on Christian McCaffrey playing, which kind of helped out. And then when he wasn't in, I mean, it does nullify his part of the bet, but it's just like, dude, I would have picked the other guy. Like I would have tried to put that running back in there, and but take it away.
I think it's interesting that anytime touchdown scorer Josh Jacobs is negative 105 and everyone else is plus. Interesting. I'm going to go Jordan Addison, anytime touchdown scorer plus 230. I think he's such a funny guy, right? He is so funny to talk to, but he's very like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back on Sunday and he's like, I got to see the end zone at some point today just because I've missed the past 2 weeks. So I would say, yeah, that's a pretty good bet to put. Plus 230, Jordan Addison, anytime touchdown scorer. I think he's going to come out motivated. He's been wanting to get out there. That's just kind of how his attitude is all the time. So extra motivated this week as he's coming off that ankle injury from week 1.
What do you got, Reg?
So you guys heard my bold prediction. So I'm just going to continue to go all in. Aaron Jones, anytime touchdown scorer, plus 120. Book it.
Reg,
give it to me.
Reg, I gotta teach you the right tabs to go to, my man, because if you're really doubling down on Aaron Jones, you got to go to Aaron Jones, alt rushing yards. Aaron Jones plus 125 or more pays 13 plus 1,300. I mean, that's the value.
And also, because you said a couple of touchdowns you're expecting from him this week, 2 or more plus 850 for Aaron Jones.
Well, give me that then.
So if you put a hundo on the parlay of Reggie's bets, you could make like 5 figures.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I think that's absolutely the play for Reggie. So Reggie's going to make some people rich.
And when you do get rich, I need something. Give me something.
So yeah, 100. If you parlay those two things, $100 pays $3,848.
Oh yeah, I at least need $15 or something. Give me 20. Yeah, give me $20 or something. Let me go get a couple pizzas or something for Sunday or something. I don't know. Help me out.
I love it. Oh, we lost Ron. I didn't realize that. Ron,
how's it going? Go without me for a quick second. The power just went out in my house. Like, the entire neighborhood blacked out. So it happened yesterday, and clearly the construction people did it again. So keep going. I'm gonna go grab my other headphones because these headphones aren't connecting.
Sounds good. We'll carry on. I'll do my bold prediction. On the football party yesterday, I had a very reasonable prediction that Sam Darnold will go under on pass attempts because it's a pretty high number. It's like 30.5, and he hasn't been more than 28 all year. And I think they're going to lean on the run game a little more. That just seemed a little high to me. But who wants to cheer for under on pass attempts? We want offense. So I'm going to turn my gaze toward, again, my bold prediction, which was Justin Jefferson, 150 plus yards. Receiving props, I could go over 79.5 and minus 114. I can also look at his alt receiving yards, just like we did with Reggie and Aaron Jones, and I could find the exact number, Justin Jefferson, 150 plus receiving yards, plus 790. I think if you wanted to be a little more reasonable, you could like lower that down to 90, 100, 110, spread a little money out on all of those. And if he keeps surpassing it, that keeps hitting, you've got a little money on all of those different lines. So Justin Jefferson, alt receiving yards, just hammer that over and over again. And that, I think, will pay out neatly against the Packers and Jair. Do we have Ron back yet? Not quite.
You know what I thought was interesting? I have been waiting on a 300+ yard performance from Sam Darnold. And just by way of circumstances, especially like the last couple weeks, like he just hasn't gotten there. Like last week, there were a couple times where there was one where Justin Jefferson missed. He dropped a pass. And then there was another one where Sam was trying to hit him on an out route. And from up top, it looked like Jefferson dropped it again, but he had it a little too far out in front of Justin Jefferson. Mm-hmm. And if he would have delivered a more accurate ball, Jefferson would have caught that and he would have been running for a while, and Sam probably would have gotten his 300. But that 300-yard mark is ever so elusive. I've predicted it like a couple times and it just hasn't happened.
Just got to throw more. Just got to be like in a competitive game for 4 quarters. They've been playing from in front, running the ball well. And some people have made this point too. I think Belichick made this point this week. We got to see how the Vikings are playing from behind. We haven't seen that at all this year. They've trailed for 3 minutes in the first quarter of the first game. They've basically led the whole season. So
is it bad that I'm not really too worried? I mean, that's football. At some point, you have to play from behind. Like it's not just going to be like how it's been every game. So like they'll adjust. It's kind of weird like hearing a coach say something like that, because it's like, yeah, like they're going to get behind at some point. Like even if they get behind like 3-0, 7-0, like they have to play from behind at some point.
Here's the sneaky thing about that too, and then I think Ron's set to go. The Vikings have actually been a really aggressive throwing team until they've gotten ahead. So they've been very comfortable with a passing-centric game plan. They've been running it well when they get the lead, but they've shown that they can throw the ball frequently and aggressively and gain leads. So that should actually lend itself really well toward playing from behind if they have to do that in the second half of the game. But Ron, we're waiting on a bold prediction. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little pissed off right now because it's the second time now these construction guys have done this over here. I understand they're building new houses, all that crap, but dude, like you got to come up with a better way than to cut the power for a minute to like hook into the other. I have no idea what's going on, but they've done this twice now where our neighborhood goes dark because we're getting like a new strip mall up there or something. Plus we have all these new houses getting put up in our area. So it's very frustrating because it like there's no warning. It just cuts off, then it cuts on, then it cuts off. So yeah, I can't even get my car out the garage right now. Like I have to like go do the unhook thing, manually lift it up like I'm in the 70s, and then get my car out and then let the garage down and hope nobody breaks into my house. Because yeah, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. So with that said, I had to pivot because my bold predictions and other things on my phone, and I'm using my phone now because my computer can't connect to the internet. But my bold prediction, the one I did see, was Justin Jefferson anytime touchdown score. I think when you think about the last couple of games, it feels like when you get to the red zone, when you get down there, no matter what you do with Justin Jefferson, he's impossible to stop. We do know Jair Alexander. What did he say? I'm not his son. I'm not some little boy. Who's a little boy? Little boy. Like, he has a quad injury now because Justin Jefferson had a quad injury. So flattery, if you want to imitate me, that's flattery. He hurt his quad because Justin hurt his quad. He's like, I want to see what it feels like to be Justin Jefferson. Let me hurt my quad too. So he has a hurt quad. If he thinks he can go man-to-man against Justin Jefferson with a hurt quad, good luck. So, and you know he's going to ask for it because he's asked for it before. He told the coaches, stop running these coverages, stop running quarters, let me take him one-on-one. I'm looking forward to that. So I got Justin Jefferson as an anytime touchdown scorer. I do like the Lambeau leap thing because I did hear Aaron Jones talk about that. Like he's never done it as an opposing player. So I know I also think another bold prediction. I don't know this doesn't go with the FanDuel locks, but I do feel like if he Lambeau leaps into the Packers fans, I think they're going to embrace him. I think it might be this weird because he didn't do anything. The Packers just didn't want him. So I feel like it would be like this weird hug, love. like, oh, you're still our guy, like, and then throw him out. I don't think he's going to get the beer like a lot of the Lions fans got, or Lions players got, and I forgot who else got beer on him by a Packers fan. I think it was a Vikings guy. Was it Dalvin Cook or somebody?
Yeah, I can't remember if it happened recently. My memory goes to 2006 or 7. Fred Smoot, who was like the Love Boat main culprit. Fred Smoot had a pick 6 at Lambeau and got beer dumped pretty bad on him. That was like almost 20 years ago now, but that's the one that comes to mind.
So there you have it, people. Those are our FanDuel locks. Make sure you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. You can just go to FanDuel, download the app as well. You can get all of our locks. You can put those in. They paid off last week, so win some money. It's easy money too. Also, one I saw, which is a tough one, it was plus 3,900 or 3,919. You pay 10, wins you $391. It was Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, and Josh Jacobs, 4 of them anytime touchdown scores. That's a juicy one where I think all 4 of them have a chance to score. I do think the Vikings win though, like 31-21, something like that. Like I think the Vikings are really I think this defense is gonna play well on the road. Because that's the one thing that travels in this defense. And the one thing the Vikings haven't had in a while, which they have now, is a run game. Like, even though we've had running backs, it feels like it's been a while since they had a run game. Because right now, 125 yards per game. When I saw that number, I was like, damn, is that the Vikings? And it is. So the run game travels as well. If you can run the ball, Aaron Jones is going to be amped up. He's not going to need any type of coffee, any energy drinks. He's bringing it all himself. So next up, we got to talk about this Lynx. Lynx finally sweep the Mercury. They take on now, because Diana Taurasi, right? That's Connecticut. Am I right?
That's Phoenix.
She was
That was Phoenix. They just
sent her
retired,
home.
ended her career probably.
Wait, wait, she's with Phoenix? I thought she played Caitlin. Who did the Fever play?
The Sun.
Fever did play the Sun.
And they
The
lost.
Sun.
But I thought she was with the Sun. I didn't realize she was with the Mercury now.
She just played at Connecticut in college.
Ah, okay.
Sun and Mercury are confused. You mix those nicknames up because they're both like space themed. I get it.
For some
And
reason,
you
I
got the
thought she was with
Phoenix
Connecticut
Suns.
Phoenix Suns, Phoenix
But-
Mercury.
But it's the
Connecticut.
Phoenix Mercury and
Got
Connecticut
it.
Sun.
So
Yeah, it's a
they
little
sent
different.
Diana Taurasi home. Got it. So now they get
I can see
Connecticut,
how that would be confusing.
who just beat the Fever. So with that said, what's your thoughts on the sweep? Take it away.
So the sweep was pretty sweet for the Lynx, being that Fee came out and scored 38, career high for her. And it was like second most points scored in a single postseason game. And then it was so funny in the post-game presser, Cheryl said she told the team they needed to lock in because game 1 they won. They were able to overcome losing that 23-point deficit, 23-point lead and still win. And Cheryl said that it was on the coaches. She was like, whatever we told them, it didn't land well. So they had to go back to the drawing board because she felt like they played better defense than what they showed in game 1. And they came out and actually did play much better defense. Diana Taurasi came out not ready to go home. She came out and hit some big shots to start. They went up by 8. And then the landslide happened. And it just kind of happened slowly. And then there was a moment in the second half where Sophie Cunningham, MIZ, but she's probably one of the most hated players in all of the WNBA, but she started a little kerfuffle. Courtney Williams did not enjoy that. They were both assessed technical fouls, and the Lynx went on a 19-8 run from there. And it was so funny after the game, Coach Cheryl said that she told the team, hey, look, we got to lock in tonight because Fee is not going to score 38 points again. And funny enough, Fee goes for 42, ties the WNBA record for most points scored in a postseason game. She would have had 43, and she was upset about that, but she missed the free throw at the end that would have given her 43. And so she said when she came out of the game, she told Coach, yeah, you were right. I didn't score 38 tonight. And so it was such a fun moment. But listen, this matchup against the Sun is going to be difficult. The Sun came out and beat the Lynx the first 2 times in this matchup in the regular season. They were close games. Looking at the series, like the first game, the Sun won 83-82. The second game, the Sun won by 5. And then the third game, the Lynx finally won. That was just 10 days ago, actually. The Lynx beat the Sun in Connecticut, 78-76. So this Connecticut team is strong. DeWanna Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, like Dejanay, like they are a very competitive and fiery team with some size. And I think that's going to be an issue with Fee because you can put multiple bodies on her and try to slow her down. But Fee is so I told Jack Borman, she's like the Tim Duncan of the WNBA. So I'm looking forward to this matchup. I think it probably goes 5, actually.
I'm tossing that first Lynx Connecticut game because if you remember, there was an egregious missed call, missed call that should have given the Lynx free throws basically at the buzzer to win that game. I'm just going to toss it and say that they split the season series 1-1. Connecticut's not really a team that has household WNBA names. You're seeing more and more player recognition. There's stars on these teams. Connecticut's just more solid. They don't have necessarily big stars, but they defend really well. I think they've got the best points against in the WNBA at 73.6. And this Lynx team going off for triple digits in the first 2 playoff games. So their offense is chugging right now. They're running into a really good defensive group. Let's see if the Lynx can shoot the 3. I don't know who beats them. Like if the 3-point shot is falling, they move the ball so well, they're going to get the looks. They're so unselfish. I just love the chemistry on this offense right now, and I feel like they're peaking at the perfect time. And it helps when you get 40 points on average from your best player. That's pretty nice too. That's a good little perk. But take care of business at home. You take care of business at home, great crowd. You probably win this series. You go to the WNBA finals. You play the Liberty. You play the Aces, 2 teams that you know you can beat. I think a title is very much in their grasp.
And it'll all come down to a Bridget Carlton buzzer beater, as we all will suspect, right? I honestly think, so he was talking to Jana Shortle at our station yesterday, and she said, every other year that I've been here, it's been like hopefully we make the playoffs, and if we play out of our minds, then we could win a championship. And she said this year's completely different. It's if we don't win this championship, that's a huge disappointment because we have all of the tools and all the weapons that we need to win a title this year. And this is the first year that I felt confident in saying that. She's like, anything less than a title is a disappointment for us this season because we've had every opportunity to do this. So the sweep, I called the sweep before it happened. Just wanted to say that. I will say it'll obviously be a totally different challenge when it comes to the Sun, but they don't have somebody like Fee. They don't have somebody that's going to put up numbers like that. They don't have somebody that averages the way that she does. I think you get Courtney Williams fired up too, like the Mercury did. Then you've got what is it that somebody said earlier this year? They were like, I'm just so glad that I don't have to play against Courtney Williams anymore. It was somebody on the Lynx team. But I think that the chemistry is just so, and we've been talking about it all year. It's a perfect balance of personalities and skill set for this Lynx team that has just come together. And I think it also has a lot to do with Cheryl as a coach as well and her ability to pull a team together. I would say anything less than a title, I would agree with Fee, would be a disappointment for their season.
Yeah, and when I look at Napheesa Collier, I love that point. I think Reggie brought it up that, the 42 points, that's nuts. Like she went full on Michael Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, playoff moment where it's like, you know what, I'm putting this on my back. Here's the way it has to go though. At this point, knowing she can put up 42, a sweep. So here, if it's a 4-game sweep, nothing against the way the WNBA does it. If it's a 4-game sweep, I'm like, whoa, because we've seen those. 2-game sweep to me, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I really am like loving it. I just I get it. You're a dominant team. You won 2 games, but that's why the NBA actually would have 2 more after that to kind of figure it out. But I will say, after that scoring performance, you now have to go win it all. Like, you got to go win it all now. You can't come up short, because we've seen stars do this where they have big early moments and then later on they come up short. She now has to continue on in this Michael, Kobe, LeBron type of, Diana Taurasi, Maya Moore, you name it, the people that went on and won championships. I think Fee can go out there and get it done. And so that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. So I don't have an opinion on it early right now. I want to see them go further. Like, go dominate the Sun. Go, like, if they sweep all the way through, then are we talking, is this one of the greatest Lynx teams ever? Because we know Maya Moore and them had it. But if they can sweep all the way through, do they now get talked about? Because they don't have the quote-unquote stars like that team had, but they're winning. I go back to the Pistons. Think about Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Rip, Chauncey. They were never considered one of the greatest Pistons teams ever. They just had a great team and won, but they didn't have superstars. They're not getting considered as one of the greatest teams ever, even though they had the best defense in the NBA. That's where I feel like the Timberwolves are. I feel like the Lynx. The Lynx can win it, but they don't have like the stars. Like, they don't have a Maya Moore, Diana Taurasi, Caitlin Clark. Like, that's what I want to see. By the way, I kind of wish the Lynx had tanked the year before so they could have got Caitlin. Could you imagine Caitlin Clark on this team? Like, I would have loved to see her in this market with that team, coming from Iowa, quote unquote. She took a terrible Fever team and got them in the playoffs. So I think they would have for sure been the best team ever. And then maybe they could get considered because they have a superstar in Caitlin Clark. The other thing I saw that was crazy was last year's championship game with the Aces, the whole series. I think they said you can go to every Aces game in the playoffs, and it was like a total of $133 or $31. They said the one game of Caitlin Clark versus the Sun, one ticket was $133. So all the games from the championship series of the Aces, all four tickets, I don't know how many it was, is less than one game of Caitlin Clark versus whoever, Connecticut. And so it's just crazy what she's doing right now to this market and how she's selling tickets and getting fans in the building, which I think it just helps. Like, it helps every team. Like, the Aces now, everybody's talking about Asia Wilson now. She's getting Nike deals. Everybody's talking about Nafisha Collier now. Like, I think it's helping. So for the people that hate, this has nothing to do with this topic, but stop hating. Stop hating. The girl is bringing notoriety to the sport and is making young girls and people want to watch and tune in. So now you're seeing Fee and you're seeing these other girls where before we didn't care about elbows and punches and people getting eye gouged. Now we're talking about it every time. If she gets hit in the eye, they're hating on her. Oh, somebody gets bumped. Oh, look at them, like Brittany Griner was about to fight. Caitlin Clark's doing it. But we got to move on. Coming up, we're going to talk about this little brown jug and if it's ever coming back to Minnesota. But we'll do that after a word from our sponsors.
We have given you our FanDuel locks for Vikings Packers at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Download the FanDuel app. Now, here's what you can do with that information. Whether you agree with Reggie that it's going to be Aaron Jones 150 yards, or me, Justin Jefferson 150 yards, or Julia, Jordan Addison anytime touchdown, or Ron, Justin Jefferson anytime touchdown. All those bets available at FanDuel.com. If you're a new customer, you can put $5 on any of those bets. And regardless of what happens, whether you hit it big, whether it falls short, you will get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. And with those $200, the world is your oyster. You can spread that out on the futures, on the spreads, the over-unders. You got World Series coming up, WNBA playoffs right now, college football on Saturdays. So many options. This is a glorious time of year for sports, and you can get in the action at FanDuel.com. Again, bet 5, get 200 for all new customers. Check it out at America's #1 sportsbook. Make every moment more.
There we go. So now it's time to talk about this Gophers game. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this because honestly, I just don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. Michigan is really good. They just beat USC. They're a top, in my opinion, I think they're one of the top 10 teams in the country. They're one of the top 4 probably. I think they deserve to be in the play, at least right now. We know there's some other teams out there, but I think Michigan as a whole is a good team. And here's why defensively. Will Johnson is going to be the #1 cornerback taken in the draft. I think he's better than Travis Hunter. He's 6'3", 202 pounds. He's an absolute man-child out there playing defensive back, and he's only a true junior. This kid hasn't even he can't even drink yet, and he's out there like breaking records. He broke Charles Woodson's interception pick six record. Like, this kid is good. And so the one thing I noticed, Will Johnson broke the pick six record. Of course, he got one against Minnesota last year. Boo-hoo. But every single time he gets a pick six, they're playing cover two match, which just means there's two high safeties, there's two corners, there's an inside guy matching, and him and the other two inside guys match the routes. They're playing read. Every single time they run a go route past him, he doesn't honor the go route because he's like, I got safety help. I'm going to make you think I'm honoring the go, and then I'm going to pick you off. He's done it 3 times. Minnesota was one of them. I'm breaking this down. If Minnesota has time to throw the ball, which I don't know if they will, if he can sit back and read that coverage, Max Brosmer can take advantage of Will Johnson because he's really greedy, he's really aggressive, and he's not going to take Minnesota seriously. He's trying to get another highlight. He's trying to put himself in this Charles Woodson Heisman conversation, but he's going to need to return a punt or something, and because Travis Hunter playing receiver is killing him. But that's my take on this. The only way to beat Michigan is not to be put in a 3rd and long or 3rd and 7 to 8, because you have to be in 3rd and 3 where they can't figure out what you have to do. If they know you're going to pass, they're going to trick you, and they're going to get an interception. My cousin, Makari Page, plays safety. He's already had, I think, 2 or 3 interceptions. He's 6'3", 215 pounds. You got Will Johnson that's 6'2", 6'3", 200 pounds. Like PJ Flex on the PJ Flex show, they're just tall, they're long, they're big, they're cornerbacks, they hit like linebackers, they're safeties, they hit like linebackers. It's going to be a long day, people. I'm going to be watching it, but I don't know about this jug. I don't know, Julia. What do you think?
Gophers are cooked this week. Let's move on to the next one. My boys.
And then they're going to win. They're going to win, and I can't wait to come back to this on Friday.
And then I'm going to be sweating it out, Alabama, Georgia. But I got nothing, honestly, to say about this Gopher-Michigan game. I don't have hope for the Gophers in Ann Arbor. It's going to be a tough environment against one of the best teams in the country, especially after their performance against Iowa, that second half performance against Iowa. If they play like that again, more than cooked, well done. That's my take. Sorry, Ron.
Sam.
Yeah, okay. So, Ron, you've prepped more for this. So did Michigan bench Davis Warren, or is he hurt? Was that a performance-based? Yeah, they went from Davis Warren to Alex Orji.
Yep.
Got to be careful how you say that last name. That's a tough one. Was that a benching? Because Warren threw a bunch of picks, lost to Texas. Whatever. Regardless, we haven't seen this new quarterback throw the ball. You didn't throw the ball against USC.
Nope.
So the Gophers, who just gave up a bajillion yards on the ground,
correct.
It's going to be 8-man boxes.
Correct.
8-man boxes all day, and just see if the Michigan quarterback can throw. That's got to be the game plan. Now, if he can't, you got a chance. If he can, you don't. I think it comes down to that. This is again, J.J. McCarthy replacement plan has not gone on as scheduled for Michigan. They're still trying to find their guy. So after beating USC with just the ground game, it stands to reason that the Gophers will sell out to stop the run, which they couldn't do against Iowa. I think it's pretty simple. It comes down to that. If you can't stop the run, or if this quarterback is actually a pretty good passer, it's going to be really hard to win.
Neither are good passers. He got benched. He was a little hurt, a little banged up, but he got benched too. He was terrible. That's why they ran the ball. Think about Penn State, same thing. They're going to run the ball down your throat. They have Donovan Edwards. They also have Mullings. So Donovan Edwards was the quote-unquote heir apparent to Blake Corum. All of a sudden, Mullings comes in, and he does what Donovan Edwards did to Blake Corum. Donovan Edwards last year came in at Ohio State and kind of showed everybody, like, I'm just as good, if not better than Blake. Now he has another guy. So they recruit running backs well. They are going to run the ball in Minnesota. There's no reason to put in the air. And so when you watch what Iowa did to Minnesota in the second half, which is a lot of combo blocks and a lot of reaching the linebackers, and PJ Fleck said this, in the second half, his linebackers played very apprehensive. They were very gun shy. He calls it shoot your shot. Not like what you think, Julia. They're not on DMs and Twitter, where they might be. But he said his linebackers didn't shoot their shot. He said they didn't see the holes and go after the holes and shoot the gun and just go. Like, trust what you got, shoot the hole, go. They didn't do that. They let Khalil Johnson get up on them. And once he gets up on you in space, you're dead. And that's the same way with Donovan Edwards and Mullings. Is if they get up on you in space, you're cooked. And so they have to shoot their shot, as PJ would say. So yes, Sam, I think the answer is the 8-man box. But I don't know, Reggie, what do you think?
Cooked. 52-10 was the score last year.
Yeah.
And that Michigan team was crazy dominant last year. So
that's because JJ McCarthy was trying to put it on for Kwesi. That's why.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was in the building. But yeah, I don't see anything. I think I was cautiously optimistic about them maybe going and beating Iowa last week. And then after that putrid second half performance, as Julia said, like, I just don't have any faith that they have anything for Michigan. Like, I think they'll score, maybe like a rushing touchdown, Darius Taylor or something like that. But, this is going to be a really, really big test for Brosmer, even more so than last week was. And I just don't see it going well for them at all. I think there's going to be another blowout win for Michigan.
And really quick before we get out of here, we got to talk about Twins. Because my Tigers, it sounds like what everybody's telling me is the Tigers are going to the playoffs, so I will be wearing my Detroit hat proud around Minnesota. But Julia, what's going on with the Twins?
The Twins have a 3% chance of making the playoffs. They have to.
So you're saying there's a chance?
So you're saying they have to sweep the Orioles, and they have to rely on the Royals or the Tigers to get swept in their next series that starts this weekend. And the chances of that happening are low, but not zero. Yeah, the other question that we posed was, like, is somebody getting fired if they don't make the playoffs this season? You would hope that that's how that would work, but you would also hope that they wouldn't cut payroll the way that they did this year. So at this point, like, the organization and the front office, we're all just kind of confused as to what's going on. So
who would you suggest gets fired? Rocco?
No, not Rocco.
So who would it be? Like a GM or?
I think the hitting coach is going to be the fall guy.
I think that's what's going to happen.
David Popkins. I think.
And Pete's not going to get cut either. So.
Yeah, wow. I mean the hitting has just been so hot and cold this year. It's been way too erratic, and there've been these like 3-week long blackouts. Like the power went out at Ron's house, the power goes out on the Twins offense, and it happened at the worst possible time, basically the whole month of September, total blackout. And these guys don't seem to have the ability to adjust their way out of it. So I'd make it change the hitting coach if you're trying to keep the game, like the manager in place. Really, really frustrating team. Not a very likable team, in my opinion, when your stars can't stay on the field, the offense disappears, the bullpen is totally, not invested in, but also kind of mismanaged, and the games weren't on TV for 3 months. Just not a lot to really hang on to with this team, and the attendance shows it. Because if you look at the attendance around the league for teams that are competitive, or at least in the race, people are showing up. Not to Target Field, not to the Twins on beautiful nights this last week. Nobody came to the games against Miami, and they lost 2 out of 3.
And I was going to say maybe some of the training staff, because why are guys?
I want to say it was this year or last year. They tried to make some changes there, and it didn't work. It didn't work. So I don't know if they have another card to play in that regard. But you're right, Julia. That's so frustrating that they can't ever have the right lineup on the field.
Well, everybody, Reggie, got about 20 seconds left. What you got?
Everybody's mad at the Polaz, but at some point the players have to be able to hit, and the pitchers have to be able to make pitches. But this Twins finish is like that. Like they're out of it. Just they're out of gas.
Well, that'll do it for us today. I'm Ron Johnson. That's Julia Daniels and Sam Ekstrom. That's Reggie Wilson. And probably when we come back, we'll be crowning the Tigers. They get the champagne. And I don't know what do you get when you lose? Do you get just near beer? I don't know. What do you get? Skunky beer?
Cancun.
Oh yeah, I guess you get tequila. So we'll be talking about the champagne or the beer that the Tigers are pouring, and we'll be talking about the Twins are booking trips to Cancun. Hopefully, the Gophers are pouring beer in the little brown jug because it's coming back to Minneapolis. I got faith, unlike Julia and Reggie. I got faith. But again, this has been Locked On Sports Minnesota. It's the Friday Roundtable. Make sure you guys tune in next week because we're probably going to be talking about the 4-0 Minnesota Vikings. Have a great one.